Hello everyone. Till now we have learned to create a sign up form, sign in form, a user profile, a logout button and also learn to change a password. So now in this video we will move ahead and learn to handle the profile of the user using the built-in function which are available in the Django authentication system. And following are the topics that we are going to discuss in this video. Firstly, we will learn to update a user profile. Then we will learn to update an admin profile. After that, we will learn how admin see all the users. And in last, we will discuss how admin get details of all these users. So let's begin by understanding update user profile. So sometimes we need to update the profile of a user. By this user, I means that a regular user, not the admin. So for this, we use the user change form, which is a part of the Django authentication system. So now I explain you what is this user change form. In Django, to update the details of the user who can access your web application, we utilize the user change form. Basically, it is a built-in module inherited from the model form class. Now I will show you the example to clearly understand the concept. I am going to use the same example which I used in the previous video also. So firstly, we need a form. So for this reason, I open the forms.py class and here firstly I import the user change form, and for this I write from django.contrib.auth.forms import user change form, as I want to extend this form in this forms.py class. So after that, I create a new form with the name user edit form. It is a form class and I extend this form class with the user change form class which I imported above. And here I define password as done, and under the class meta I define the name of the model user. You can see that I also import this model from the django.contrib.auth.models, and after that I define some fields which I want to show on the user update form. The first one is username, first underscore name, email and date underscore joined. All these fields I want to show on the user change form. So after that we have to define the logic for the user update form. So I move to the views.py file and here I will show you the code for the updation of the user. So here I create a view function with the name user underscore edit. Then I use the if statement which check that user is authenticated or not. After that it check whether the method is post or not. If yes, the method is post, it will call the user edit form. So where this user edit form comes, you can see that here I create a user edit form in the forms.py class. So before calling it, we have to import it first. So here I will show you. Here I write a line from .forms import user edit form. So then I use this form here, and then I use post and the user as a argument to this form, and I initialize frm as a variable to it. After that I use the is underscore valid function for the validation of the form. If form is valid, it will show the success message by using messages.success method. So here I pass the success message as a profile updated, and then this form is saved by using this save method. Now I write the else statement, which means if the request method is not post, or you can say that if the request method is get, it will call the user edit form, but this time it call with the user request only, and I initialize this request.user to instance variable. And here I again initialize this user edit form to the FRM variable. Then I render this form to the update.html page, and as a context I pass a name of the user and the form also. Else, if the user is not authenticated, here you can see that if user is authenticated it will do the following things. If user is not authenticated, it will redirect to the home page. So, or you can say that the profile of the user. So after defining the view, we have to map it with the URL. So I open my urls.py file, which is also located in the authentication app, and now I have to define the URL. So here I define the URL for the user underscore edit view. I pass the URL as a update. I name it as a edit, and before defining it I also import. Here I will show you. Here you can see that I import user underscore edit. So after defining the URL also, we have to make the front view for the updation form. So you know that the front view is an HTML file, and all the HTML files are located inside the templates folder. So I move to the templates folder. I have to create a file with the name update.html. Why we have to create a file with the name update.html? Because here I render the file as a update.html. So I create a file here, I open the file, and here I already write a code. Now I will explain. This part of the code I will explain you later. Firstly, I will explain you this part. So here you can see that I create a form by using the form tag of an HTML. I pass a method as a post, then I use the csrf underscore token of a Django, which means it is used for the security purpose of the form. Then I use the for loop, and inside the for loop I call the label underscore tag, error tag, or the FRM, which is a form render variable which it gets from views.py file in the for loop to show the user updation form. After that, I add the messages part to show the message, and you know that to showing the message we have to call the message in the double curly braces. So here it is used to print the message which I pass in the user underscore edit view. And then one more thing, here I also add a link for the moving back to the profile. So you can see that for this I use the ahref tag, and here I define the URL of the profile and I name it as a profile. I forget to tell you one thing, I also add a button of the value update. So now I execute this code and show you the output. So on the successful execution of the code, we get the registration page. Under this we have a sign in option. Now you have to enter your credentials. I add it. Now you have to open it with the password. So I hope you remember that we learned in the previous module to change the password. So please enter the password which you have set after changing it, otherwise it will not open your profile. So now I enter my new password and click on this sign in. It will successfully move to my profile and it shows the welcome message, and here you can see that it will shows the option of the update profile. Sorry, I forgot to explain this update profile option. I explain you first. So for adding the update profile option, we have to move to the home.html, and here I add a link for the update profile using the ahref tag, and here I add the URL of the edit view. So now I will explain you the output. So whenever I click on this update profile, it will move to the profile page which consists of my details: username, first name, email address, and the date of a join. So if you want to change something, you can change it easily from here. Suppose I want to change the username. Now I change this username from Johnson to Johnson 22. So I added the detail. Now for the submission of this form, you have to click on this update button. I click on the update button. You can see that it will update my profile and it will shows update your profile Johnson 22. So now it will also show me the message profile updated. Now I want to move back to my profile page, the main profile page. So I click on this profile link. It will take me to back to the home page, or you can say that to the profile page. Now I want to show you something. I click on this sign out button. It will move to the sign in page. Now I want to open with the admin user and password. So I enter my admin credentials and I click on this sign in. You can see that it shows me the message, welcome to Python Guides admin. So now I want to update my profile. When I click on this, it will also show me only those details which it shows for the simple user. But this is an admin profile. You all know that admin handles each and everything of the user. So for this, we have to make some changes in our code for updation of the admin. So this code is only valid for the user updation. Now I move back and sign out. Now I try to open my user account. So I change it to Johnson 2022, but I want to open it with my old username. So I enter the old username and a password. Now I click in sign in. You can see that it will not open it because I changed my username. So I update my username here and now I enter the password. So now I click on the sign in. You can see that it will successfully move to the home page. So with this, we have learned to update the user profile. So now we will learn to update the admin profile. You all know that admin is the super user. It has privilege to see all the user, update all the user, delete all the users. So for update the admin profile, we also use the user change form. I already explained you this form. So now I will show you the example. So for this, I have to move to my forms.py file. So I open this file and here I create a form class with the name admin edit form. As I told you, we are using the user change form. I import it first, then I create a new form class admin edit form and I extend it with the user change form. And here I define the meta class. Under it I define the model user and then I define the fields double underscore all double underscore, which means it shows all the fields of the user model. So after defining the form, we have to define the logic for creating updation form for the admin. So I move to my views.py file and here I write a code for updation of admin and the user both. So for this, I create a view function with the name user underscore edit. I comment out my first function which I have created for the user updation only because I include this part in the admin and user updation part also. So then I use the if statement. It checks whether the user is authenticated or not. If yes, it will again use the if statement to check whether the method of form is post or not. If yes, it again use the if statement. Now this time it check whether the user is super user or not. Super user means it is admin or not, and for this it use the is underscore super user attribute and I initialize it to true, which means yes, the user is super user. If user is super user, it will call the admin edit form. So before calling it, we have to import it first. So on the top of the program, I write a statement as from dot forms import admin edit form. So I move back to my code and explain you. and here you can see that I pass post and the request dot user as an argument to it, and I initialize frm variable to it. Else the user is not super user, it is a simple user. This time it calls the user edit form, which I already explained you in the previous example, and I call it with the post and the user request as an argument, and I initialize it to frm. Now it checks the form is valid or not, and for this it uses the is underscore valid method. If form is valid, it will show the success message and show it as a profile updated, and then it saves the form. And in the else part we define if the request method is not post, it is a get method. It will check whether the user is super user or not. We again set it to true, and this time it will call the admin edit form with the only user request and initialize to frm. Else it will call the user edit form, which means if the user is not a super user, it will call the user edit form, and this time it only has a request dot user, and I initialize this to frm. Then it render to the update.html file with the request.user and the form as frm in the context of the dictionary. And if the user is not authenticated, it will redirect to the profile page, or you can say that the home URL. For admin, you have to use this is underscore super user. Always remember one thing, if you want to show the admin update form, you have to set is underscore super user attribute to true, and then you call this admin edit form. So after defining the logic, we will have to map it with the URL. So I move to the urls.py file. So here I already added the path of the user underscore edit, which here I write the path for the user underscore edit. I already explained you in the previous example. Now we have to create the front view for the admin updation, and for this I move to the templates, and in this you can see that we render the update.html file. So I open my update.html file, and this file consists of the same code which I explain you in the user updation example. So now I execute my code and show you the output. So here is my screen. You have to open the admin for showing the changes. Firstly, I will show you the user profile. Here you can see that here I open the user profile. When I click on update profile, it will show me the username, first name, email address, and a date of joining. Now I move back to my home page and I click on this sign out. Now I open my admin profile. For this I use my admin credentials and I open this. So when I click on sign in, it will open my admin profile. So now I want to update it. So when I click on a update profile, you can see that now it shows all the details. So it will show me the password, which is in a hash form. For the protection reason, it will show me the last login time, set super user status to the tick. It will show me the groups. Here it shows the permission, username, first name, last name, and staff status, date of joining. You can make any changes. So here you can add the change. I add the name of my admin as a Jack. So I click on this update. So when I click, it will show the message profile updated. So it will update my admin name. So now I move back to the profile, and here I click on the sign out for signing out from the admin. So with this we learned to update the admin profile also. So now we will move to the next topic, which is admin see all the users. So you know that admin has the privilege to control all the user. So it is necessary that admin can see all the users. I hope you have noticed that when we update the admin profile, admin don't have the list of the users. So now we will learn to create the list of the users so admin can view all the users. So I will show you the example. So for creating a logic for viewing all the user to the admin, I open my views.py file. Here I write a code. I use the same user underscore edit as a view function. I comment out my previous one. Then I check whether the user is authenticated. If yes, then I check the method is post or not. If yes, then I check whether the user is super user or not. If yes, then I call the admin edit form with the post and the user request. So then I have to add this line for showing the all the users to the admin. So we want to show all the user to admin. For this reason, you have to enter this line if the user is super user. Here I write it as user.objects.all. It is a query set which I used for the user model. It fetch all the objects of the user model and I initialize it to the users variable. Else, if the user is not super user, it will call the user edit form with the request post and the user, and this time here I set users as none. Then I check the validation of the form by using the is underscore valid method. Again I write the success message by using the messages.success method. Then I save the form by using the save method, and in the else part it shows if the method is not post, it is a get method. It will check whether requested user is super user or not. Then I initialize it to true. Then I call the admin edit form again with only the user request. Again here I add user.objects.all query set for fetching the user. Else if the user is not super user, it will call the user edit form with simple user request, set user to none, and then render to the update.html file with the name of the user, form and the users. So this users will show the list of all the users. So else if the user is not authenticated, it will redirect to the home URL. So after defining the view, we have to map it with the URL. I move to the urls.py file. Here I enter the URL of the user underscore edit view. Now we have to make a template, or you can say that the front view, by using which user can see all the users. From this user I mean the admin. So I open my update.html file and now I explain you this code. So here you can see that it will check if the user is not none. So you can see this none is used with the user edit form. So if user is not none, it means it will fetch the admin users. So it fetch all the admin user. It print heading as a list of the user in the red color in H3 format. Then by using the for loop, it will print the username of the all the user by using this line. In double curly braces, we write as user.users name. Then I end the for loop and the if statement. I later explain you this a href tag, why I use this here. So now I execute my code and show you the output. Now I again open my profile with the admin credentials. So I click on the sign in button on the update profile. Now I click on the update profile and you can see that it will show me the update page of the admin, and here it will show me the list of all the users. The first user is admin, which is the super user, and it show the next user with the name Johnson 22, and you know that we have created a user with the name Johnson 22. So with this we learn how to add a list of the user on the admin profile page so that admin can see all the users. Now we will learn how admin get the details of all the user. Till now we learn how admin see all the users, but it will not getting the detail of these users. For this we have to make some changes in the code and I will show you this with the help of an example. So for creating a logic for the getting the detail of all the user in the admin side, we use the views.py file, and here I write the code. Here I create a view with the name user underscore detail, and I pass request and id as argument. Note one thing, here I pass id as an argument. Then it will check user is authenticated or not. If yes, it will take user.objects.get query statement was used, and it will take primary key, which is a pk, equals to id. It means this id was initialized to the primary key, and I set it to the response variable. Then it will call the admin edit form with the instance assigned as a response, which is get from this object.getId query set, and I initialize it to the frm variable. Then it checks whether the form is valid or not. If form is valid, it will show the success message, profile updated, or save the form, and it renders to the detail.html page with the form as a context. If the user is not authenticated, it will redirect to the sign in page. So after defining the view, we also have to map it with the URL. So I move to the URL as .py file, and here I add the path. Here you can see that I create a dynamic URL for the user underscore detail view. It will take int as a id. This id is a primary key. I name it as a detail, and before initializing it, I also import this view. So here I import the view user underscore detail on the top of the program. So now we have to define the front view for the detail of the user. For this, you can see here I render the detail.html file. So in the templates, I create a file with the name detail.html, and inside it I create the form with the method post, which rendered by using form.asp tag of a Django, which means rendered form as a paragraph. As a heading, it shows user detail profile with the h1 tag of html, and here I also add a link, go back to the main update page, means it will go to the admin update page, and here I add the URL as a edit. You can see that this edit URL is of the user underscore edit profile. Now I want to show you one more thing. For this, I open my update.html file. Now I explain you why I use this a href tag for the user.username. I create this as a link because when the admin click on the username of the user, it will move to the detail of that user. So for this, I write the URL as a detail. This detail it gets from the name of the view. You can see that this user underscore detail view has a name detail. Next, it takes user.id. This user.id is take from this dynamic URL. So with this, we have learned why we had this hyperlink to the user.username. Now I execute my code and show you the output. So here you can see that I have my admin profile. I will show you once again. When I click on update profile, it will show me the list of the user and the detail of the admin itself. So I want to see the detail of the Johnson 22. When I click on this, it will move to the user detail profile. You can see that it shows me the password, last login, super status, group, user permission, username, first name, last name, each and everything of the Johnson. But here I don't make any updation button for this profile. You can easily do all these things with the help of an admin panel. And if you remember that I have already explained all the details in the module 20th of the course. So I already explained all these things with the help of an admin interface. I will show you once again. So here I open my admin panel, and under this users, you can see the list of all the users. I click on this user. You can see here I have two users. The first one is admin. The second one is Johnson 22. And now I click on this Johnson 22. I make some changes. I check the staff status to tick, and I also add some permissions like auth user can add user for showing you something. So I click on this save option. So it will make changes successfully, as it shows user Johnson 22 was changed successfully. Now I move back to my user detail. I refresh this page of a Johnson. You can see that here you can see it will show the permission. Here you can see it tick this permission as auth user can add user. As I make change in the admin panel, it will show this change, and it also shows the staff status to ticked. So you can easily do all these things with the help of an admin interface, which I have already explained in the 20th module, as I told you. So with this we have learned how to manage users, and we have also completed our basics of a Django, and in the next module we will learn to create some projects using Django framework.